I just hit. We actually live now, so I just hit. We're live.
All right, fuck it. Is this streaming to our YouTube?
Yep.
Do we need to put a post out to?
The yeah. The people are now watching live. Yeah. It's yeah. We are live now. I'm putting the link out right now. So if you're watching, give us a shout out.
All right. Well, yeah, this is kind of awkward now. I didn't even check to see what the fucking what episode we're on now.
Yeah, I don't even know because
I mean, I guess
it's like this is like a this is like new life now. So it's like we took a break, we're back. I don't even know what episode we're on.
I
We'll
think. Hold on. All right, don't. Hopefully, this shit don't start fucking playing too out. Come on, Wi-Fi. Playlist politics as usual. The last episode we did looks to be
we were in the teens, right?
so. So we did 16, and then we did the best albums of 2019. So was it 17 or 18?
18.
All right, fuck it, 18. This is the longest it has ever taken us to do fucking intro with the episode, but we're rusty. It's been 6 months since we've done this. It's been a year since we've done it on the regular. I know this because I think the last one we did was like Memorial Day weekend of 2019. If I'm
Yeah,
not
yep.
mistaken.
Last one.
Yeah. So that was the last full one we did. So welcome to Politics as Usual, episode 18. I am your host, well, one of your hosts, AJ. Along with me is Ronnie. And in housekeeping news, there's no longer two hosts on Politics as Usual. We have added a third. He is not with us because he didn't get his mic. Which he decided he wanted to be a podcaster late last week. Um, but you all know him. You've seen him on I think 3 or 4 episodes now.
Yeah, it's been 3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on like a quarter of the episodes that we've done. My brother Fee, um, he's a good addition. He's on the Venn diagram of shit that me and him overlap with is very small, but the
Mhm.
Venn diagram of shit that you and him overlap with is
Yes, yes.
so even though we're brothers and we grew up in the same house and share a room for 16 years, uh, you two probably have more similar taste than he and I do.
Yeah, he and I are in the same wheelhouse when it comes to just ignorant rap. So I'm
Yeah,
glad
yeah,
to have I'm glad to have an ally on the show now.
yeah. I mean, it's not that I don't hate on ignorant rap like I used to. I just don't listen to the shit. Like I
I
can't.
just I just love it. I just need some ignorance in my life. So like I said, he's a much welcome addition.
Yeah, so he should be on hopefully next week. So you might not see all three of us on at once. You might see like me and Fee, Ronnie and Fee, me and Ronnie, or some or all three of us. You never know what's going on. But we figured this was a good way to add someone in so we have a bunch of continuity, all while being able to have at least two people on all the time. And my podcast is back this week, the 4 Hour Show. Um, I think me and Joe Code are gonna be. He's gonna be my first guest. We're supposed to record
Shout
tomorrow.
out to Joe, man.
Yeah, man, Joe back on social media.
Welcome
Um,
back. The streets needed you.
yeah, streets definitely needed Joe back. Giving out all. See, this is fucking me up because I can't tell what side of my head my pick is on. Clearly,
Oh, you
fucked up.
just go.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm over it. See, did it again. But Joe's back. We're gonna be discussing like ways that you can use, even though quarantine's been lifted in a lot of areas. We'll probably be back under quarantine at some point, because idiots aren't social distancing. But just
Let's hope so.
productive,
Anyway, yeah.
yeah, productive ways for creators and creatives to use quarantine. We're gonna be talking some, like SEO and branding and all the fun shit that if you're a creator, you might care about. So yeah, we had like a very slim agenda, like when we said we were gonna do this last week, and then shit started happening.
Yeah, man.
as it usually does. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the
All
gaff?
right. See. This is what I got because I like I said, I made a slim agenda. What I have lined up, and we could take this either direction we want to. I have the Last Dance, Snyder Cut, and Tenet. We could go ahead and get the gaff out the way, or we could just
See,
go
I don't
down
know
the
because
agenda.
I feel like we both gonna be pretty amped on the gaff. Like,
See, I'm pretty sure we got the same opinion on the gaff. Like we got the same opinion. I'm pretty sure.
okay, so we can start out with the gaff.
Yeah, let's get it out the way. Yeah.
So yesterday, Uncle Joe Biden with his stupid ass went on the Breakfast Club for some unfucking known reason. Why presidential candidates keep going on that fucking show is a mystery to me. I will never understand it. And basically said if you don't know the difference between me and Trump, or if you vote for Trump over me, then you're not black. Obviously, it was a stupid fucking thing to say.
Yeah, that's you
Like,
have no you yeah, you can make yeah, you can make
like
that.
there's zero excuse for saying that shit. My beef comes from Charlemagne and trying to push this. Him and Diddy trying to push this. The black vote is not free this year. Bullshit.
Yeah, they're being very like Jen and come lately about this because the time to do that with their social capital was when we had 25 people on stage. You could have said, let's have a town hall and let's talk about specifically what you want to do for the black people. Diddy didn't
Or
do that. And he has the Revolt TV channel. He didn't do that. Charlemagne didn't do that. And he could have easily hosted a town hall or a debate. Where was that? Why are you waiting till now to do this?
why are we waiting till now to talk about this? The other thing that is pissing me off about this shit, there wasn't what are we doing for black people? They wasn't saying all this shit with the 8 years we actually had a nigga in the fucking office. We had a black man in the office for 8 fucking
And
years, and you niggas wasn't nowhere going, well, what you doing for black people? What you doing for black people? What you doing for black people?
it's like
And
it's
I'm
like
not
the
a
cool.
person, and I'm not a person that says Barack Obama didn't do nothing for black people. What Barack Obama did for black people was he did shit for everybody in order to help black people. But
Mhm.
there wasn't nowhere. Charlemagne wasn't asking him, well, what's in it for our community. Diddy wasn't saying the black vote ain't free this year for Obama. We let that man skate. That man was
Yeah,
respectability politics and shit. Ain't want to come out strongly on police shootings, all sorts of shit. But y'all niggas want to
it's
go
like
to ask Joe Biden this shit against the Antichrist.
and that's what I'm saying. It's like the cool thing to say now. Like they think they're being like because they're saying it now, but nah, now of all times, now is not the time for that.
And secondly, who the fuck cares what Charlemagne or Sean Combs thinks about politics?
I mean, exactly.
Give a flying fuck what you niggas think about politics. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, yeah. Like we said on many episodes back, like we've moved away from like the talented tenth model where we have black leaders to speak up for us now. Like we don't need that. So those people like
Yeah.
Charlemagne and those people like Diddy, like just get the hell out the way now. You're not
Like
adding
if
anything
if
to
if
the
you
discourse.
if you got money in a platform, use your money in your platform to help black people. Stop running to the Democratic Party asking what they finna do for us. Diddy has close to $1 billion in net worth. Where your school at, nigga?
You know what's wild? Like every time something happens, Diddy is like, man, we need to come together and raise money, man. Where we go get the money from to do this? I'm like, and once again, what you do with your money is your
Right,
business.
right,
But once you take that platform as like a
exactly.
social activist or a philanthropist, then you got to put your pockets where your mouth is. Basically, you got to
If
step
if
out
if
on
you
that.
if you want to do that and you got the capital to do so, nigga, you ain't putting no schools in the hood. Where your LeBron James Promise Academy at? Where your Jalen Rose Leadership Academy at?
He making
What you
people walk for cheesecake though.
what you done put towards Howard's endowment? All the artists catalogs and publishing that you done fucking stole, and your punk ass can't put no bread down on the shit you talking. But you want to ask Joe Biden to talk about the black vote ain't free against like guys. I'm not being dramatic when I say this shit. This might be the last election that we have if Trump
Yeah,
wins. Like this isn't a joke anymore.
it is not a joke.
We need to get him the fuck out the paint. Then we can start looking at the Democrats and going, all right, now you niggas owe us some money.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people like I think Fonte retweeted something that was talking about, yeah, we got to be the responsible ones to save this country again. Nigga, who you think they coming after first? And if we ain't first, we second. Like Bill Barr is quite literally building a fucking Gestapo right now.
He is.
Like Ruth Bader Ginsburg ain't surviving 4 more years.
Yeah, she only had. Yeah, she doesn't have very many trips to the hospital left in her.
Yeah,
So
nah,
yeah,
she about done out here. Like, do you
yeah.
really want to see a 6-3 and potentially a 7-2?
No, it's gonna be it's gonna be a 7-2 before like
Yeah, like in
within
4
like
years
two
it'll be
three
seven to
years.
two. Like, no,
Hmm.
no, 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 no. This can't happen. This can't happen, guys. Like, this ain't the time for this shit. Save all that bullshit. And for the people that are mad, you have every right to be mad. I ain't mad
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I'm still voting for the motherfucker come November. Ain't no point in me being mad at this shit.
Right.
Like, all right, short of you showing him coming out of a Klan meeting and pulling his hood off and saying this is Joseph Biden of wherever the fuck he's from, like in the 1960s. Like, short of that, he getting my vote. Like, ain't shit else that's stopping me from voting for him because I
Mhm.
know what the fuck is about to happen. If he wins 4 more years, he's not leaving the office.
He is
done
not
survived
leaving.
impeachment.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. After everything he's done, people think like in another 4 years he gonna be like, well, it was fun. I'm just gonna leave office now. Thanks America. Like, no, he's not leaving office. Like he has joked about that several times. He's not leaving office.
Not when allegedly the Southern District of New York has like a ironclad case of sending him to prison. You think he's
They are
leaving
waiting.
office?
They are waiting for the day
They
he
are
leaves
waiting for
office
the
to
day
drop
that he
that.
steps out of office to drop them charges on him. He's not leaving, and when he dies, one of his kids is going to assume the presidency, or Jared Kushner's stupid ass.
Yes.
Like, we're about to be a dictatorship. This ain't the time
Mhm.
for this shit. So Charlemagne, shut the fuck up. Diddy, if you ain't putting no money down on what the fuck you talking about, shut the fuck up. All of you Hotep wannabe black superstar niggas, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Even Umar's goofy ass ain't out here talking that shit. Like,
Yeah.
even Mr. Get on your Cash App ain't out here
Get on
talking
your
that
cash
shit.
app.
Like,
I need that cheesecake, Big Papa style.
the Prince of Pan Africanism ain't out here talking.
Big POPA.
Mr. Next time making 20 ain't out here talking that shit. That nigga out here telling white people to stay off his live. Like, yup. He out here telling people to stay off his live, white people to stay off his live, and for people to send him more money and trying to finagle more money to get that quote unquote school built. That's all that nigga. He ain't talking that shit. So
That school is like the church building. It's never getting built.
Man, that church,
It's like the building fund.
that nigga been
It's like the
raising
building
money for
fund.
that school for 10 years and ain't. I want to know how much is in that account. I would love to see it. Monique gift. I would like to see it. I would like to see
that.
I would like to see all the fundraising this nigga been doing. Like, even he ain't out here talking that shit. So why y'all talking that shit?
Somebody get on your cash app.
Oh, that's my man's Blair. What's good, Blair? That's my man's Blair right there. Yep. Get on your Cash App.
Get on your cash app.
Even he's not talking that shit. And y'all niggas want to sit up here and talk that shit. Charlemagne, shut the fuck up. And everybody stop going on the fucking Breakfast Club. Ain't none of them motherfuckers
Dude.
or anything.
Okay, because here's the point I made, and by the way, this is there's some overlap between this and what Ryan and I talk about, but this is the shit I hate about Charlemagne, because when Elizabeth Warren went on Breakfast Club and laid out specifically what she wanted to do for black people, Charlemagne looked her in her face and said, "Stop pandering." But when Joe Biden is on there, you're like, "Oh, well, what are you gonna do for the black people? The black vote ain't free." And then and once again, Joe Biden has to totally own up for the gaffe. He made it. He has to stand on that. But at the same time, like he went fishing for that. So how is that useful right now?
I have no idea. Joe Cole said, "Did he just up?"
That
is 100% correct. Diddy is just up north Birdman. Diddy been robbing motherfuckers blind. That motherfucker still own Mace Publishing. By the time Mace get his publishing, Mace Publishing worthless now, but by the time he get it, that publishing probably gonna owe somebody money. Like, like, you've been out here robbing motherfuckers blind for 20 damn near 30 years, and you got the nerve to be out here talking about the black vote ain't free. Shut your stupid ass up, nigga. Host a debate or something. Like, do this shit
Right.
during the primaries, you fucking dumbass. You got $1 billion and they put no fucking bread in the hood, but you want to talk all this shit, nigga. Go. Never mind.
But speaking of $1 billion and putting bread in the hood, I think we should transition to the last dance.
Okay, so Mr. Republicans buy sneakers too. Well, first off, so here recently, there's been a lot of like, I don't want to call it backlash, but a lot of like mocking of the framing it as a documentary. Because Jordan had last say over the footage. If you talk shit about, but I want to say, like, if you Michael Jordan, do you really care about putting an unbiased portrayal of you out there? Like, nigga, for what? Like, you done had sports pundits for the last 10 years out here trying to rip your name to shreds in order to prop up LeBron. What you putting an unbiased portrayal out here for? For what? You own the footage, it's yours. Like, what the why?
I will say this about The Last Dance. Obviously, he had the last say on what was put on the documentary, but at the same time, it was an honest portrayal of MJ, because he thought it was gonna be to the contrary. He was like, when this come out, people aren't gonna like me. Nah, it's like people like him more now, because people are like, this is the MJ I've been waiting for. And also, it was as fair as it could be through one person's perspective. I found it to be way more fair than it. Yeah, than it could have been like through one person's perspective. I thought it was gonna be like way more biased than what it was, but I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Man, that shit was phenomenal. Like, I even down to them playing like Game 6 of the '98 finals the other night on ESPN. Like, I really like, because I remember watching that game. Like, I think I was summer of '98. I was 10. Like, I remember me and my brother like sitting up with our mom and her boyfriend, and we're just sitting there watching it. And my mom's boyfriend just sitting there like, man, it's the greatest of all time. It's the greatest of all time. And we had heard that all our lives, but I don't really remember the game as much. Like, I don't remember them being down and feeling like, oh shit, it's finna go to Game 7. Like, these niggas, like, I was watching the game and I knew the outcome, and I was like, how did these niggas win?
Because it's like we remember the shot, but I totally forgot. I totally forgot about the sequence. I forgot about what happened before the shot, and like they said, that is really like one of the greatest sequences in sports history. And true enough, I mean, let's just get out there. Push or not, who cares? That is still the greatest shot of all time. That is still the greatest shot of all time.
Reggie like shoved that nigga out the fucking screen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, who cares? That's like my favorite thing about that shot. And it's not when the shot went in, but like, you've seen all the pictures of the poster where it's behind him and it's up. Like, if you look at the clock, 6.6, championship number 6, finals MVP number 6. That's beautiful symmetry. And like, shout outs to Mike on Twitter, Little Mexico. He pointed out that there's a kid in the stands holding up him and Ransom, because like it's like the ball's in midair, and they like,
and the kid is holding up 6.
He's holding up 6 because they knew, like, yeah, he missed some shot, but like, this is what I always say, like, with regard to the LeBron comparison. Like, the one thing about Jordan was it wasn't that he was perfect, but when he had to get them shots, he got them shots.
Basically, this is how I frame up Jordan in just one sentence. He never made the same mistake twice. Yep. You might get him the first time. Second time, there's not gonna be a second time.
The Magic series was proof of that. Like, they lost their Magic in '95. They turned around and was like, "Oh, okay, bet." Him and Pippen wouldn't let Penny get up the court. Like, it was one of them games, because I think it was Bill Simmons and them. They were watching it, and like, they just showed like how like 4 times in a row, like, him and Pippen are in the backcourt hounding Penny, causing turnovers, and they was just like, yeah, nope, it's done. Like, the '96 team like might be one of the greatest defensive teams of all time. Like, you got 6'6" Ron Harper, 6'6" Michael Jordan, 6'7" Scottie Pippen, 6'7", 6'8" Scottie Pippen, 6'8" Dennis Rodman, 6'9" Dennis Rodman, and one of 2 7-footers, either Luke Longley or Bill Winnington, you could put in. Then you could bring 6'10" Tony Kukoc off the bench for offensive purposes, but you could pretty much
just a long team, like, defensively.
Yeah, and like they had the original death lineup. Like, people talk about like how Steve Kerr lucked into the death lineup with David Lee getting injured, but he really didn't. He played with the original death lineup. Like,
so he knew. Yeah, he knew.
About Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, and Dennis Rodman. That's the original death lineup. Like that's 4 defenders and 3 guys who, 4 defenders and 3 guys who can score at will. Like that's basically what the death lineup was. It was 3 defenders and 4 guys who could score at will. I mean,
yeah, you had what you had was like a
kind of with Harrison Barnes.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, but what you had there was like a stable of like complementary players. They're all versatile. They had different skills, and when you put them out there on the court, like each like, and they emphasized that throughout the documentary. Each guy knew his job, and as whatever you want to say about MJ as a teammate, like they went out there and put it all on the line to help out MJ. They knew their job and they were dedicated. So like just that team building like was amazing. And it's hard to see stuff like that today, because I hate how lopsided some teams are built today, where or even like true enough, I like positionless basketball as we call it today, but sometimes like it could be detrimental because like I don't want my center trying to shoot mid-range jumpers, man, go bang in the post sometimes, but
I think it's not positionless basketball as much as there's now basically 3 positions. There's playmaker,
post wing playmaker,
3 wings, and a rim protector. That's basically the 3 positions. Because there's not really a post anymore. Like you see guys dominating in the post, it's usually guards. Like usually it's guards and wing players that are coming down to the post, but not bigs because it takes too long to develop. You got four guys that are long that can come out and like basically what they did to Karl Malone. Every time Karl Malone caught the ball in the post in Game 6, there was a guy waiting to swipe at the ball.
Right.
And they finally got him, which led to the shot. But like, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the documentary. I didn't give a flying shit if they wasn't showing numbers of Gary Payton. And somebody, I think it was Bomani Jones brought this up. When he says after he laughs at Gary Payton, he said, Gary didn't bother me. I had other things on my mind. And other things on his mind was he was about to win his first championship without his father.
And not even that, like we kind of get
they knew they were gonna win. He's probably like, God damn, like fuck. Next game we win, my pops ain't gonna be here. So that probably had this play. And Gary
I was about to say through that we kind of get the glimpses of like the players like he have like immense respect for and doesn't, because he immediately says, and we talked about this on Twitter, is like, I have no problem with the glove. So basically that shows like basically if he doesn't respect you as a player, he doesn't like you, he thinks you're shit. But if he knows you're good, then he's you've earned his respect. So he said, I have no problem with the glove. And I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I think that was like one of the best things that ESPN has ever done. And I'm real tired of everybody saying that he did this shit because of LeBron. Like if you follow the storyline, he started opening up talks about this, I think in February of 2016. And that was when it was becoming clear that the Warriors were about to eclipse 72-10. Meaning if they had went 73-9 and won the title, like that would have had people talking about they were better than Jordan's Bulls.
Right.
It's just so happens that he said yes on Game 7. But to me, like if you're talking about like, did nobody think LeBron was gonna beat them?
I certainly did.
Like until number one, Kyrie went off. I think it was Game 5 or 6 where they both had 41 and Kyrie went like 16-24 or something absurd like that and hit the biggest shot.
Kyrie was a maniac that game.
Man, he was a man fucking possessed. Like
yes.
I think it was I think me and Pat was talking about this a couple of days ago. Like Kyrie is the perfect number 2 if you can convince him that he's a number 2. Because he has the skill set of a number 1, but the mentality, leadership.
He's not built like that.
Yeah, like Scottie knew because when everyone says, "Oh, they would have won 10 straight or they would have won 8 out of 10 if they stayed," like, nah, man. Scottie got humbled in '94. Like Scottie realized, like, oh, and like when Jordan came back in '95, they was 34 and 31. Like Scottie knew, like, I need him. I need him. Like Scottie would have ended up bucking at MJ because he probably would have been like, nah, I can do this. But you had a whole season and a half without him, and he's like, I don't know how
he's like, yeah, maybe I should reconsider how I view myself. Yeah.
I don't know. I know if I should, like it's like a to laugh at myself. It's like a divorced nigga getting back in the dating game and being like,
Well, some things have changed.
this is not what I remember before. That shit looked a lot more glamorous when I was going home to somebody at night. But yeah, I love The Last Dance. I think it's great. I don't really give a flying shit about the fucking Tom Brady documentary. Like,
No, we do not need that.
I don't want to see.
We don't.
I don't really care to see a LeBron documentary. Like, Michael Jordan's one of one, and the reason that this was so poignant is because it came out 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need a Tom Brady documentary right now. This motherfucker's still playing.
He's still playing.
Give me a Tom Brady documentary in 2035 or some shit like that.
I got a better idea. Actually, never give me a Tom Brady documentary because who cares? Like, seriously, who cares? And I'm not saying this as a hater. I'm saying like it's a different game. It's a totally different game.
It is like
it's not comparable at all.
The thing like I can't say so, and this ties into Jordan, LeBron as well. Like, because I've always felt like the argument that LeBron fans and his stumpers on TV are trying to make is he's the best at playing the game. But they frame it as he's the GOAT. And it's like,
nah.
Can't say you the GOAT. Like, to me, 2011 precludes him forever from the GOAT debate. You can't have a dude my height stopping you from scoring. Like, you can't
like that. That is a serious mark on his record, and it can't be erased. It happened. JJ Barea and Jason Terry
and old ass Jason Kidd. Like,
yes,
36, 37-year-old Jason Kidd stopped this man from getting the title. And they was like, they basically put Marion on D Wade and was like, yeah, he ain't here. He ain't here mentally. We'll let Jay getting posted up by JJ Barea and you pass out of it.
JJ Barea.
What's wrong with you, nigga? Like, I have footage of that on my phone. If any LeBron fan thinks I'm bullshitting, I'm not bullshitting. Like, LeBron might be better at the game than anybody, but Randy Moss was better physically than Jerry Rice was. That doesn't mean Jerry Rice isn't greater.
Right.
Like, Aaron Rodgers is better physically than Tom Brady. That doesn't mean he's greater than Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Like,
and it's quite simple.
He is a better rapper than Jay-Z. That doesn't mean that he's the greatest rapper of all time. Like, I think
stop right there, because that's actually the perfect example. To me, what makes MJ the GOAT is when you're looking at comparisons, you have to take into account, basically talent, and then you have to take accolades. Jordan is one of the most talented players ever, one of the most dominant players ever, and because of that, he has accolades. Now, what most people do is they hype up the accolades, because I mean, is Robert Horry one of the greatest players of all time? No. So it's Jay-Z has the accolades, he has the talent. So that's what makes him the greatest of all time. Right. You can't have one or the other and be the GOAT. And LeBron has too many strikes on his record for him to truly be the greatest of all time.
Blair said documentary is next. I don't know if I'm too sad that I couldn't see the Kobe moment even in the
man.
That was too much. And then Joe said, I've been looking for that Birdman 8 points tweet for the 2011.
Fucked our summer up.
Man, listen, man, that and then in 2014, man, that's the largest margin of defeat in NBA Finals history. 2014, you had two other Hall of Famers in their primes on the court, and one other Hall of Famer who would just hit you a clutch shot the year before. Like, too many strikes, man. If you want to tell me he's the best at playing the game ever, I'll listen. But my retort to you is going to be, if he's so great, if he's so much better than everybody, why he done came up short so many times against even.
Yeah, like bar none, he's the most skilled player of all time, especially at that size. At that size,
see,
just the athleticism and the skill at that size, we'll never see that again.
So here's what I always like, because here's the thing that irritates me so much, and I'm not saying that LeBron James is not skilled. Don't nobody think I'm saying that. But so one day, I forget who it was, but somebody was like, Kobe's more skilled than LeBron. And somebody was like, what? You're crazy. I'm like, guys, we often confuse skill with tall dudes that can pass. And what I asked was, so would LeBron's game work in Allen Iverson's body? Absolutely not. Would Kobe's game work in Allen Iverson's body? Yes. Would Kobe's game work in LeBron's body? Yeah. So who's more skilled if I can translate one person's game through anybody's body versus LeBron's a one of one. He's a one of one.
I was about to say
he's a one of one. That's why he can do what he does. He never had to develop that other shit. Like he's never had to develop a mid-range game because why stop at 18 feet when I can just take you to the bucket? And there's nothing wrong with that.
I was about to say I hear you, but I still say he's still one of he's probably the most skilled player of all time. You do make a good point, but I just seriously think
I think my thing with Kobe is Kobe was not as athletic as MJ or LeBron.
Oh yeah, I don't think people
even his contemporaries.
I don't think people really remember the amount of time he put in the lab because he wasn't always that guy. He was a guy who was just like raw athleticism, but wasn't like the best athlete. And he could play a little bit, but you could still see he was rough around the edges. He put work in to develop everything in his arsenal he had.
The footwork, learning to get the spots, the defensive IQ. Like Kobe was a very, very skilled dude. And it's not that he wasn't athletic. It was that by the time he got in the league, his level of athleticism was about par for the course. Like he was probably slightly above average athlete when he was younger, but mid-20s, now you're getting guys like LeBron and Wade in the league who are just exploding, and then the Russell Westbrooks come along, and you get freaks like,
or even like a few years later when you get Vince Carter and Trace McGrady on the same team, you know, like you said, his level of athleticism, it became like, you know, just leveled out. But at the time he entered the league, yeah, he was probably athletic, but he had to learn a different way to play the game. And one thing I liked about Kobe is his game kept evolving. It was really beautiful to watch, man.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace to Kobe, the Mamba. What we got? We got next one.
You ready for this one?
Yeah. This is the one where we're gonna disagree. Because
we might not. Go ahead, kick it off.
I'm ready for the Snyder Cut. I want it. I watched Justice League the other night. The bones of a decent movie are there. I know Lee is somewhere cringing at the mere thought of that.
I agree with you that. No, seriously, I agree with you.
Lee is somewhere cussing at me through his laptop. That shit is gonna be trash because Lee hates everything. But the bones of a good, like, the thing with me is they got the casting right on pretty much every character.
Yeah,
like I'm not a fan of Snyder's Superman, but like that scene when he's coming back to life and he's fighting the Leaguers, I was like, oh yeah. That's Henry Cavill. You needed Henry Cavill for that. Batfleck to me is the best live action Batman we've ever seen.
Facts.
Gal Gadot, I was skeptical of her casting, but
she brought it.
Yeah, she brought it. Hold on. Joe said I saw a Kobe quote somewhere that said we should all be fortunate Allen Iverson wasn't 6'5". AI would have been a monster at that. That is absolutely that is absolutely true.
That is facts.
True. Kobe Bryant Allen Iverson at 6'5" would have been something because people forget, man. AI had spring when he first came into the league.
Yeah.
Like he got up, but small guards like that, they hit a wall at 30. That's why as the lone Hornets fan on the internet, that's why I said do not pay that man $200 million because you look at any high usage small guard between 5'10" and 6'1", they are like running backs when they hit 30. Both Isaiah Thomas's AI, Kemba's gonna be the next one. Like you go find a small guard and look at around the ages between 28 and 32, and they start falling off. That's why I like in the backtrack. Like Gabe was trying to argue with me about Devontae Graham the other day, and I'm like, Devontae Graham's already 25, and he's only in his second year in the league. He's not making it to a third big contract. Like he's not, because he's going to have to take 4 years to get to 7 years to be able to qualify for the max. And by that point in time, he'll be 30. And ain't nobody paying a 5'11" volume shooting guy. He ain't never shot 40% in his career. Ain't happening. Like, and I'm a fan of Tech, but that shit ain't happening. Like he'll get this one big contract in 2021, and then it'll be over with for that. But yeah, back to the Snyder Cut. The casting Momoa's Aquaman to me, like he may not have fit it looks wise, but that was the smartest casting they could have made because
It was.
there's a
It
savage
makes so
version,
much sense.
there's a savage Aquaman that people don't know about because they only think
Mm-hmm.
about the super friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like Aquaman is one of the strongest leaders. Like he could theoretically puncture Superman's skin with his trident. Like he's that strong. Like if you put hit like outside of the sea, like just for him to swim that fast, like the depths that his body has to survive at, like he's extremely durable. Ray Fisher is Cyborg. I was kind of ill on it first, but after rewatching,
But I liked it.
Yeah, after rewatching, I'm like, okay, this was a good casting.
I think Ezra Miller.
Yep.
Yes, I was about to say. I think we agree on that. Ezra Miller is the weakest link
because he to me was more. He could have fit more Wally than Barry to me.
Right.
Like I could have saw him more as Wally, but Barry, I was just like, like you could have left him out and brought in Shazam, or I mean, now we find out later Martian Manhunter has been in the DCEU from the very beginning. And I like that casting. However,
I like it too, but
you tell us that after the fact.
All right, here's my thing with Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder, basically, if subtlety came up and bit Zack Snyder, he still wouldn't recognize it. He has to crank everything to 10. Like, so basically, reading what he wants to do with the Justice League,
that shit should have been
exactly the fanboy loves it, but that's too much to squeeze into one movie. And also, what I dislike about his movies is basically you can't tell how powerful a superhero is because once again everything is cranked up to 10. Perfect example when Night Owl and Silk Spectre are fighting in Watchmen and they're like cracking bones and stuff. They're not strong enough to do that, but of course it's a Zack Snyder movie, so they're going to be like super powered. So I think if you pair Zack Snyder with like a good writer who isn't like Chris Terrio, if you pair him with I'm just saying, if you pair him with a good writer and dial him back a bit, he could be serviceable. But if you give him that much creative control, then I will say this.
Go ahead.
Hold on, let me finish this about the Snyder Cut though. I will say this. It's both cool but bad at the same time. It's cool to see fans who feel like they were cheated to get this. I'm happy for those fans. As much as I joke about them, I'm happy for them. But it's bad because I think this sets up a bad precedent. I could totally see Disney Plus like just you know what? Let's get no that too. But I could even worse. I could see them saying like, you know what? Let's get the gang back together to put a movie in between Age of Ultron and whatever follows that. I actually forgot the lineage of the MCU, but basically you get what I'm saying, right? I could totally see, and basically you have decisions being made by shareholders that aren't good creative decisions because.
Oh, the only reason I don't think Disney Plus could pull that off is because the salaries would be too exorbitant for that. Like with this, you talk about a movie that was already made, and they just couldn't.
You want to know something funny? Hold up. You want to know something funny? When Zack Snyder was in college, guess who his best friend and roommate was? Michael Bay.
See, this is why we needed Joe back on the internet. That's why we needed Joe back on the internet. But like, so the only this is a movie that they're basically saying this is a dead franchise. We're gonna pump $20 million, $30 million into this. It's no reshoots. $20 million in the return they're probably gonna get off of this is well worth the investment. I don't know that Disney could do that with any of the Avengers actors.
Let me ask you a question.
Bread you're gonna have to put up for that.
Let me ask you a question. As loud as the release of Snyder Cut people have been, that you already know the reception for this is going to be major. As erratic as Warner Brothers / DC has been, what's to stop them there? What's
so the problem with DC from the beginning is that they did not just go to Jeff Johns and say, be Kevin Feige.
Mhm.
That's DC's problem from the get go. They tried too much with Man of Steel to make that the Dark Knight for Superman, and that's not how that works. They gave Zack Snyder way too much power because Batman versus Superman should have been 3 movies.
Three
And
movies in, yeah,
secondly, they had the perfect blueprint for how to do their cinematic universe in their own house.
animated movies.
The DC animated universe, all and you saw the
Justice
bare
League, Justice League War is the perfect way to kick off that universe.
and you saw the bare bones of that at the beginning of Justice League with Batman going after a parademon. The only difference
Mhm.
is Green Lantern doesn't show up and go, "Hey man, fuck you doing?"
Right.
But like aside from that, they had that and they refused it. So I don't and the DC animated universe to me has its shortcomings. It's way too Batman and Damian focused. Um
Yeah.
like and don't get me wrong, I love the dynamic of Batman and Damian. I wish somebody about a year or so ago after Umbrella Academy premiered put up a fan art of number 5 of Umbrella Academy as Damian. I'm like, oh my god, him with Batfleck would be
Perfect.
like dropping a pretentious assassin in with that
Mhm.
Batman. Oh my god, that's cinematic gold. But again, this is what happens when like the beauty, like the so for people who don't know, like who like I know we all know who Kevin Feige is now, but like if you don't know him, he was like an intern and production assistant for the first 2 X-Men movies, which is why there's a steep fall off after the first
Mhm.
2 X-Men movies because he read comic books growing up. He is a
He did the fact checking.
right. He is the one who said, okay, this is how we can balance it out to like we can make these black uniforms look cool without being the cartoony blue and yellow shit that was done
Mhm.
before. Like he's the person who did that, and then he left. And
Actually, let me stop you right there. We gotta take it back because he was actually mentored by the Donner family who created the first Superman movies. Like a lot of people don't remember that either. So he has that lineage of like being behind the scenes when it comes to superhero movies and how they should be, how they should look, how they should feel.
right,
So and like you said, that's why there's a steep fall off from those X-Men movies because they're like, oh, the X-Men movies are popular, but they didn't realize why they were popular and why they were good. So, they kind of pushed him aside and gave control to the worst director ever. And you see what happened.
well, not only that, but he made Lauren Schuler Donner, and she might be a relative of that Donner family. I'm not sure. I haven't looked her
Mhm.
up, but because
Yeah, yeah.
she's made some awful decisions, like thinking casting Channing Tatum as Gambit was a good
Yeah.
idea. But DC had that, maybe not from the movie standpoint, but from the comic knowledge standpoint with Jeff Johns. He was their chief creative officer for years. Why didn't nobody go to him and just say, "Yo, take your hands out of the comic books for a minute, and we're gonna put you into the movie side of things. We need you here not to make the movies, but we need you here to make sure that when someone brings you a script, you're looking over and going, okay, this can work, this can work, this can work. That doesn't work. We need to move that out. Bring this in because he's a great writer too. So why would you not?"
And by the way, it's not like this man hasn't planned out entire event series or anything. It's like tied together different runs of books. It's not like he's done any of that. I mean,
Like
so
he's been behind like almost every DC, well, was behind almost every big DC comic crossover for God knows how long while writing his own titles. Like he's the one who revamped Aquaman. He's the one who made Green Lantern interesting again. Like he took dead characters and literally brought them back to life.
mhm.
But for whatever reason, DC Warner Brothers was like, you
Yeah.
stay over there. We'll get Christopher Nolan made us money. We'll just let him executive produce Man of Steel and give Zack Snyder the movie, even though he doesn't fucking like Superman.
Which it's just
Like he took
just
that movie to get Batman, and then they turned around and made the best Batman casting ever. And now
and
we're
then
not even getting it anymore. Like we're
yeah.
not even getting we won't even get a solo Batfleck movie, which is just a fucking robbery.
I
Because
will say this, and this is and shout out to our man Lee because he keep bringing up his idea like, hey, Marvel, hit me up. I got this Blade script. In a few years, if we're all still living, bring Batflat back and have him mentor Terry McGinnis.
yeah, yeah,
I'm just saying.
and
I'm just saying.
and keep the angle that that's his son. That but neither of them know it. Like keep
But
that
neither of them know it. Yes,
keep
perfect.
that angle. and don't bring it up till the third film
Mhm.
when you have a time skip and he's grown, and do that shit. Cause I don't fucking understand what the hell anybody was thinking. Like I know Ben Affleck was going through his troubles,
Mhm.
but he should have been given a shot at that movie.
Did you hear his idea for his Batman movie?
Nah, or if I did, I don't
It
know.
was it was basically going to be almost like a cat and mouse movie between him and Slade Wilson. Hmm. Because remember they teased it at the end of what was that?
They teased it at the end of Justice League.
Yeah. They at the end of the Justice League, so that was going to be the Batman. He was going to have to chase down Slade Wilson, and that was going to be the movie. Sign me up for that.
Yes, especially if you're hashtag he hates everything. Yes,
It's everything.
but give us that, especially if you're bringing in the Bat family. Like that's the main reason. Like I know I've trolled about Battinson, and like I'm fully aware that we can get a fire Batman movie with the trash Batman. Christopher Nolan did it one and a half times.
Mhm.
You could get a fire Batman movie with a trash Batman because Christian Bale is only not the worst Batman because George Clooney in the middle of that stupid list. Like, is the
And by the way, and by the way, we've said this many times, but Christian Bale admits that he's the worst Batman.
like
So
he's gone.
no
And
need to no need to
people
defend
people
him.
like,
He
no, he
says
was
this
so
himself.
good. No, you're confusing
No.
him being good with his movies being good. Those are two different things. Like
Mhm.
the same way, like I love Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but I'm not really a fan of the Spider-Man movies that he's been in.
Nah,
Like
not a
his,
fan.
his characterization of Spider-Man is spot on. But the movies, eh, I could do without him. This is the Jay-Z gift. But yeah, like Battinson to me he can't give me the Bat family dynamic. I don't feel like he is imposing or just a like to take it back to Justice League. That scene where he intentionally pisses Diana off is
Mhm.
Batman.
I will say this, and hear me out.
Like that's Batman. Like that
He-
scene
he-
right
he-
there is Batman, where he is intentionally alienating the most powerful person in the room to get the mission the way he wants it. That is Batman. He intentionally pushes her and is like, I wanted to see if she would kill me.
Hear me out though. Hear me out on this. I've always stated that much like 007, there are different characterizations of Batman. So much like um, Zack Snyder wanted Ben Affleck to be his Dark Knight Returns Batman, it's very clear that for the Batman, we wanted basically a Batman year one Batman, and to me, Robert Pattinson is a good year one Batman.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm not saying
no,
I'm
no,
not
no,
saying
no, no. Hold up. But where I'm interested in to see, because for all intents and purposes, they've stated that this movie isn't going to be a one-off. They plan on, continuing with this Batman. But I'm curious to see how he's going to grow into the character. How he's going to be over an extended amount of time. That's why I'm curious to see. But for a year one Batman movie,
Bale is not worse than Clooney.
Bill is not worse than Clooney.
Clooney,
Like
Clooney, Clooney was a better Bruce Wayne, but as far as Batman goes, absolutely not. Like
Bale was both the bad. Well, I don't know.
if we're talking Batman rankings, and we take voiceovers out of it, because the dude who voiced Batman in the DC animated universe, like he needs some props. Like I think
Yes.
Jason O'Mara, like he's fucking good. But if we take him and Kevin Conroy out of it, your Batman rankings, live action. We're not talking Bruce Wayne. We're talking the Batman part of it. Batfleck, Stephen Amell. Close your mouth because Stephen Amell is playing Batman, playing Green Arrow. I don't give a damn what you say. Go watch that series. That's Batman.
You okay?
Batfleck, Stephen Amell. Who's the original Batman?
Michael Keaton,
Michael
who
Keaton.
is my number two.
Michael Keaton. I mean, he's technically number two, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Michael
yeah,
Keaton,
I get what you're saying.
Val Kilmer,
Yes,
and then Christian Bale, and then fucking really Mike, really.
yeah. I'm not even gonna put that one on the screen.
Really?
Not even gonna put that one up on the
What,
screen.
what's,
Yeah.
what's good, Mike? but then Bale and then Clooney. But like that to me that's the list. Yes, Keaton is technically number 2, but Stephen Amell is basically playing the character that Batfleck is playing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because they can. I mean, we talked about this before, but DC was like, we'll give you any character to put on TV except Batman. It was like, oh, okay, we'll put Batman on TV, just not
Yeah.
the way you think.
Yeah. So the story behind that, so the way that spun out of Smallville, and the original Green Arrow, the guy who played Green Arrow in Smallville, he was supposed to be. Once again,
Joe, man.
This is why we needed Joe back on the internet.
We are gonna have, if we want to be productive with this show, we're gonna have to ban Joe, man.
But he's right.
He's right. He's right. And once again, to give everyone a chance to read that, Bale was talking to Rachel in his Batman voice when she knew he was Batman. Like, I mean,
but yeah, man. So, but I don't even know where the fuck was I at? Where were we at?
Dude, I totally forgot, man. I saw that and I immediately just lost my train of thought.
But anyway, yeah, I'm interested in the Snyder Cut. I think the Snyder Cut is going to. I don't know that it's going to be good, but if it's going to give me more Batfleck, then I'm with it, because that to me was every iteration of Batman I love is the insanely paranoid. The mission comes first. I don't care if I alienate and piss everyone off. I'm gonna do what I think is right, and that to me was Batfleck. And but to get back to my point of Pattinson, what I was saying about Pattinson. Yeah. I don't know that he can give us a good Bat family dynamic. I don't know that he can convince me that he ran Nightwing off. I don't know that he can convince me that he's a reluctant father to Damian. I don't know that he can convince me that he could stand in a room with Superman and potentially intimidate him, knowing that he has no fucking superpowers. I don't know that he can do that. And that to me,
I will say this:
he has to be able to intimidate the strongest person in the room, and they have to like have a hint of like, yo, like, I know I can kick your ass, but I'm not really sure at the moment. Like,
because he's the wild card, and people are like, okay, I know I can smash you, but you're kind of acting wild right now.
Do you got some kryptonite in your bag? I don't know what you want. Like, I need that in my Batman. But go ahead.
But yeah, I was going to say, as much as I hate Batman versus Superman, the one thing that made me just basically do the Leo meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, when Batman was about to go to war and he was basically in the gym prepping, I was like, that's my Batman. That's the Batman I know. So for as much grief as we give Zack Snyder, he knows Batman.
Which, by the way, Stephen Amell does that on like every other episode.
Yeah. Oh, like
whenever shit get thick, he get on a little thing where he doing the pull-ups. And
1,000 pull-ups before we go to war.
Like Stephen Amell, like whenever shit get busy, he's like, all right, time to hit this gym. Oh, that's what the fuck we were talking about. Yeah, how he ended up on Smallville was they wanted to bring in Batman so they could do a world's finest thing on Smallville, and Christopher Nolan said no. Because that was around when Batman Begins was coming out, and he basically said, I do not want Batman anywhere else. So they were like, oh, okay, so we can't use the paranoid multi-billionaire. Oh, yes, we can. We'll just use our other non-powered.
We'll just use the other one,
and make him a paranoid asshole. And that is how.
Let's use our other billionaire who has a bloodlust. Let's use him. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, Oliver Queen is like a damn near a hippie superhero in most iterations. But they were like, so we'll just give him Batman's personality and all the storylines. Like every B-level Batman storyline is in Arrow. League of Assassins. Being picked as racist successor and marrying his daughter. Check. Having a son that he did not know about. Check. Having an angsty teenage protege. Check. Check. Having a chauffeur who can beat people's asses. Check. Like literally all of that shit. Having a wheelchair bound girl who can hack into any computer system. Check. All of that shit is completely Batman. And they were just like, so y'all ain't gonna make a So Gotham ain't gonna cover none of this shit, right? All right,
Right.
all right. So Roy Harper, that's basically Nightwing now.
Uh-huh.
Thea, your Batgirl.
Cause the season where Hunter showed up, I was like, okay, this is giving me like Outsiders vibes, and like I was like, okay, I'm gonna roll with it because it's cool, but this is
Even like
very clearly,
even down to having like Mr. Terrific, because isn't Mr. Terrific in the Outsiders?
yeah, Mr. Terrific's
Yeah,
in
like
there. Yeah,
he basically had his own Outsiders. They were just like,
yeah.
all right, so y'all ain't making a Batman TV show no time soon, right? So we can just make him Race's successor. Yeah, instead of Talia, what's his other daughter? Nissa? Yeah, have him marry her.
Yeah.
Like they did every fucking thing outside of say this is Batman. Like the voice modulator, all of that shit. Like all of that shit. Like him being a superpowered being showing up, and him just being able to stop them with a contingency plan. Like how was he able to stop Flash? Like with a fucking
Right.
Like how was he immediately like Green Arrow ain't immediately suspicious of Supergirl, but they were like, well, this is going to be that. So, but yeah.
He ain't like, yeah, Green Arrow ain't that nice, but I do like the characterization of the show. So
yeah, I mean it was the closest we'll ever get to a Batman show. Although I am glad that the Birds of Prey TV show never got around to season 2 because allegedly John Stamos was supposed to show up as Nightwing.
huh?
Yeah, that was the thing. That was tossed around
Wait.
in season 2. Yeah, John Stamos was supposed to show up as Nightwing in season 2 of Birds of Prey.
That doesn't even. Nah. Perfect opportunity to move on, man. Yeah. Yeah. Nah.
All right, so you gonna have to lead this one because you got
all. So I'm
about this shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna lead this one. So unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you're well aware that the second trailer for Christopher Nolan's new thriller that is shrouded in mystery, Tenet, was released. And I have a theory. This isn't a theory that I'm interested in dying on the hill for, but it's still my theory. I strongly believe that Tenet is at best a sequel for Inception, or at worst in the same universe. And I'll tell you why. Actually, let me go ahead and screencast. I've brought some photo evidence with me here.
Wait, is this actually gonna show up on the screen?
Yeah. Actually, I take that back because now I'm using Firefox and it won't let me. But anyway, there's a scene in that Tenet trailer where he is talking to Robert Pattinson in the street, and that is the same neighborhood where Leo was walking Ellen Page, right? Ellen Page's character, and telling her how the dream world works. So if we know anything about Tenet, is that basically I do think in this trailer they leaked the real name of the movie, which is Inversion. I feel like the real name of this movie is Inversion, which means John David's character is living time in the present, while other characters in the movie, the time is going backwards for them, and the time is going to align. If you look at the way they spell Tenet out in the like on the poster, it's like the TE is upside down, but the N is the only letter that's upright, of course, because the N both looks upright and downside at the same time. But yeah, I do think this is the sequel for Inception. Now, AJ, what I want to ask you is just how stupid it is for how stupid do you think it is that this movie is still possibly coming out July 17th?
We live in a capitalist society, dog.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see it. I'm catching the bootleg regardless. Like I don't. The last movie I went and saw in theaters was fucking My Hero Academia shit. And I only did that because I knew that shit wasn't coming out on bootleg anytime soon. And this Ron
Yeah, I'm hurting right now. I can't find it anywhere.
I don't know how that's the only movie on the planet that does not seem to leak or end up on the internet. Like for whatever reason, the bootleggers leave My Hero Academia alone. They're like, nah, bro. If you want to see,
They're like, nah, this, yeah.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
gotta support this, yeah.
I think they're gonna move it. I think they're just standing pat with it,
Mm.
because they don't want to move it, but I think they're gonna move it. They're gonna have to.
Yeah, and here's two reasons why they are hesitant to move it. I found this out today. For this movie to even break even, it has to make 500 million, possibly an opening weekend. Not gonna happen. Also, Christopher Nolan, he has a rare deal for this movie where basically he gets 20% of the first day box office proceeds. That is unprecedented. Usually movie studios break even and then you get your money afterwards, or you get your money from merch, or you get your money, after it leaves box office or from DVD sales. Nah, from day one, he's getting his money. So that's why he's like, nah, this movie is staying in theaters. And while I do want to see this movie in IMAX, I just don't see it happening, man.
So this is, and I don't know how this hasn't like gotten more traction, but I'm probably about to give somebody a good idea. Where are the fucking drive-in owners at right now?
I would say this: shout out to Sidewalk in Birmingham, because they currently have a drive-through series. They're showing older movies because nothing's coming out right now. But I think it's a thing they're going to continue. But you are totally right. Like, drive-in movie theaters can be, making some serious bucks right now if they were really
my man's Mark Ribbiai, or however you pronounce his name. He doing a drive-in concert in Charlotte in a couple months.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's a fire idea. Drive-in concert.
That's a fire idea. Yeah.
I am. Like, nigga, I get to sit in my fucking car.
Right. I don't have to stand up.
Bring my own drink. Lean back.
Drink in the car? That sounds perfect.
Like, that sounds fucking. How did no one think of this shit before? But yeah, I don't know why they aren't leveraging drive-ins right now. Like, I know there's not a ton of them around, but I would think if you are like hell bent on getting a movie to release, like, I would think a drive-in would be your best bet to do it.
And this is going to be the wave going forward, man, because it's going to be hard getting people in those enclosed spaces to basically get people to watch a movie. Like, the modern cinema is dead.
They'll be in there. Motherfuckers at the beach right now.
Well, okay.
You think they won't be in a movie? Now, they may not be in an artsy movie, but you think if Avengers 5 dropped tomorrow, that motherfucker won't break $1 billion the first weekend?
Right. Yeah,
you think it won't be? I won't be in there. I ain't even go. I didn't even go to theater to see Endgame. I was like,
to quote Irvin Johnson, I won't be there.
I'm not gonna be there. Like, yeah, motherfuckers will be right there. If you told motherfuckers Iron Man 4 was dropping tomorrow, them niggas would be in the theaters.
Does it supersede and erase Iron Man 3 like the Snyder Cut would Justice League? If so, I'm there. I would be there for that, because Iron Man 3 did not happen.
No, Iron Man 3 didn't happen, but I wouldn't be there. I catch the bootleg, but I wouldn't be there. Listen, I am not getting back into any. I am not investing time into any more comic book cinematic universes unless you tell me that Fantastic Four with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt is coming. And even then, that's the only part of the MCU I'm paying attention to. Or you give me a good Bat family, and Pattinson has to show me that he can be the asshole head of the Bat family for me to believe that that's coming. Because
I think that Bat family idea is dead now.
It's dead. Well, because I'm like, you can't convince me that you have a Nightwing old enough to have a grudge against a young Bruce. Like, you could have convinced that with Batfleck, but you can't convince that with. And I haven't seen Pattinson's characterization, but given the fact that he's like, I ain't even finna work out. Like, to me, Pattinson would have been better as Nightwing. He would have been better Nightwing to Batfleck's Batman, because of the fact that he can get intense, but he's not as intimidating physically anyway. But yeah, I'm not. I don't care anything about any more comic cinematic universes. I'm done with the shit. I will catch everything that the MCU throws out on bootleg. You can quote me on that. Y'all ain't getting $1 more from me, especially not after that James Gunn shit. Like
Especially the James Gunn thing, man.
shit pissed me off to no end. Like, I don't have any personal issues with James Gunn, but that man should have lost his job, and his job should have stayed lost.
Instead, he came up and now he's the head of two different franchises and two different companies. Just the caucasity.
The caucasity. Yeah. What we got next on the docket?
That's it for me, man. You got something else you wanted to say?
Do we have anything else? I mean, oh yeah, we could have talked about versus. I don't know. I really give a shit about the versus.
Nah. I mean, we could
I ain't gonna
do it. Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. Let's keep that in the pocket for now, but we may have something coming.
Joe, we gonna need you for that idea if you still watching.
We're gonna need you for that, Joe, if you're still here.
Like that's an idea that we're definitely gonna need you for, because I think that format could use some tweaking. But I mean, the only thing with versus tonight is what fucking some Beanie Man.
It's like Beanie Man and Bounty Killer, and shout out to Jamaica, but I won't be here for that.
Yeah, I know way more Jamaicans and New Yorkers in the 4 years I've left Birmingham than I did in my entire previous 28 years of living. Like, I legit work with a Jamaican woman who reminds me that she is Jamaican and don't give a fuck about my feelings on a regular basis.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. I usually try to stay on her good side. But yeah, I don't know what the fuck we'll be talking about next week, but I'm sure it'll be something. If my brother's microphone has arrived, he might be joining us. I'm still trying to work out like the audio situation with this shit, because as Ron can tell, like I had this. I didn't have it figured out when we tested it yesterday. I had it figured out at 1:30 this morning while I was up. One of my friends that called me was asking my opinion on something, and somebody else was texting me, and I was drinking. I was like, oh, I got the shit figured out. Boom. Closed my laptop. Hadn't touched my laptop until it was time to log back into this shit, and I tested it, and it wasn't working.
Of course.
Because that's just my luck.
Yeah, just how it works out.
But I have a microphone like off to the left of me, and yeah, I have to do something because it's some audio shit y'all don't really fuck about it. But for me, I want it to be correct. So I'm gonna try to get it correct before I start doing the 4-hour show shit, and before we're back next week. But I mean, the audio hadn't been an issue, so I don't really see it.
No, the audio's been crisp. I think, yeah. You can make complaints about our tangents, but not our audio.
Yeah. Well, that, and I really wish I had a quieter air conditioning unit, because my microphone picks up all that. Yeah, that shit just kicked on, and I'm like, I if I look at Logic, I guarantee you there's a spike in the fucking audio right now.
Yeah.
from when that shit cut on. So rather than have that dominate the last few minutes of this, we're just gonna say peace. Thank you all for tuning in. Shouts to Joe, Blair, Mike, even though he called me my grandfather's name. We don't have to talk about that. My God. Check out what is the show you and Ryan doing called?
We're just calling that a election 2020 miniseries. It's still under Don't Call It a Podcast. So okay. if you go to Don't Call It a Podcast and Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you'll find it there. You can also go to thekidswearcrowns.com to watch the videos. It's also on our YouTube page if you want to watch the live stream. So we're doing big things here.
Follow the Twitter account at the KWC blog. Find us on YouTube at the KWC blog. Yeah, go to the website. We don't write much anymore, but we're doing the podcast thing. This is back. The 4-hour show will be premiering this week. Even This Round's on Us might be making a comeback. Hopefully Anthony has toned down a little bit. And actually, I'll talk to you more about this offline, but a friend of mine wants to do some podcasting, so I might bring her under the umbrella. But yeah, we're back. We're doing this. Same bat time, same bat channel. Well, probably
same bat channel.
Maybe not same bat time next week, but same bat channel.
Yeah. Not same time, but yeah.
Yeah, because I don't. Yeah, this is different. I almost caved in and got a haircut today because I saw my barber had a time open, and I was like,
Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with it, man. I'm just gonna,
Dog, it's for me. It's the '70s over here, man. I got a patchy beard with a teeny afro. Like I feel and no shape up. Like I feel like I'm fresh out the '70s right now.
yeah, no shape up at all, man.
Yeah, man. It's like I've been able to get my widow's peak because I got some trimmers at the house, but like yeah, man. I'm
See, I thought about it, but I'm not that brave. I was like, like, nah,
Yeah, nah.
let
See,
me
for
not.
me, all I'm doing is getting like this part right here and like a little stubble
Yeah,
around the sides. But like I ain't like really going like so close to it. Yeah, nah. Now I done looked and I'm like I might go and give me a straight razor and start doing that myself.
I'm just gonna let the pro handle that, man. I told myself that I'm gonna go back in like August. I'm in no rush to get back right now, though.
I don't know, man. I done got my whole I gotta build this fucking exercise bike so I can get my home gym set up going. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm debating on like how long it's gonna be before I start going to shit because I ain't trying to die from the Rona.
Nah.
I didn't talk all this shit about people in the Rona that if it comes out that I died of the Rona, somebody gonna put that Bobby Brown video, that Bobby Brown and Del Nippy post for them old niggas struggling to see Rona. Somebody gonna put that be at me with that or play that shit at my fucking funeral. I don't need that happening. That's just too ironic of a death for your boy. That's like that tweet you once had on your old Twitter account. You said you are. You know what I'm about to say, right? The way you talk about when you almost choked on a pork chop.
I was like, I can't go out that way.
And your last words would have been, I ain't gonna say what you said, but
Yeah.
oh, shit. Well, all right, man. We will catch y'all next week. Again, check out everything on the KWC blog. Check out Joe Code stuff at the DIY artist. Follow him at I believe it's Joe Code II. I think that's all one word. If we're wrong, Joe, correct us. You can put it in the comments. But he'll be on the 4 Hour Show this week anyway, so we'll be talking about that. So yeah, if you got any suggestions or something, you feel free to throw it to us. We may not listen, but we like user engagement. You got any parting words?
I mean, nah, man. Thanks for watching. Like I said, I think these live streams are something we're gonna do going forward. I really enjoyed the interaction. So I think we'll definitely use this format going forward. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, peace.
Peace.